Today we got a 2011 Toyota Corolla, and we're going to replace the front door speakers. Now, I've already replaced the back speakers on this car. The front ones are factory, so I just wanted to upgrade them just a little bit. I'm putting some cheapy ones in here. They're just a blah punk. It is a three-way speaker, but it's a cheapy speaker. So I'm going to go ahead and take the door panel apart for you. And then we're going to go ahead and replace the speaker. Now, we do have the spacers by Metra, which are, this is the part number right here, 82-8148. And they do come with some hardware, these really thin screws with these horrible little nuts. Yeah, they're pretty cheap. I'm not going to be using these. I actually went out and I have a rivet gun. So these do have rivets. Let me take you to the other side real quick and let me show you what I did. So this is the original speaker that I pulled out of here. This sat in here like this, where this aftermarket speaker, and it was actually riveted in here and bottom. It's got 3 rivets. You do need to drill them out. Just take a little drill and then just kind of drill the center of it, and then just kind of go up and down a little bit, and then you usually break the rivet and then just push it through. Same thing on all 3. So once you got that out, and I will show you how to do it on the other side, but I'm just explaining what we're gonna do. So we're gonna do that first, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna insert our little rivet nuts. So basically what this does, it's like a sleeve that goes in here. It gets riveted in, and then you're able to replace it with a bolt like I did here. Now it doesn't have to be this color bolt. This is all they had. I got these at O'Reilly's. I think it was like 4 of them for like $5 or something like that. Just because I was a little bit pressed for time, because you can find these a lot cheaper, probably Home Depot. I am using these are I believe these are M6 size, which is basically like a 10 millimeter bolt. 10 millimeter is like an M6. I believe that's what this says here. Yeah, M6 right here. I got the 1-inch ones, 20 millimeter, and that's what these copper looking ones are. But they're a little bit longer than say like your standard 10 millimeter. Like this is like a 1-inch, and I think that one might be 3/4 inch or something. If you look at the size there. And you do need them to be at least 1 inch, because they do need to cover the spacer and then the metal of the car. So, you know, obviously this spacer has a little bit of maybe, I don't know, less than 1/4 inch maybe. And then you got the gauge of the metal. So it's got to go through both of those. So basically this sleeve goes in there, gets pressed in, and then we go ahead and mount the plastic right here. And then we can go ahead and screw it in. Now, you could run the wire out through here. That's what they have the little hole here for. I kind of ran it through the back. I could have just ran it the same way, but I just tucked it through the back. And then I came behind here and I zip tied it inside there. So you can do it either way. That's preference is up to you. And then you just obviously mount the speaker. But I'll show you how I did all that. I wanted to rivet them in, because I do have a rivet gun, but the rivet gun I purchased didn't come with the attachment for the rivet. It was a 2-way tool. It came for this sleeve nut, or you could do rivets. But for some reason, the kit I bought did not come with the attachment to do this, so I couldn't do rivets in here, so I kind of had to do bolts. Now, if you didn't want to go through this, you don't want to put the sleeves in here, real simple. Just buy the same bolts, and then just buy some nuts, and then make sure you have the speaker out. Just screw it in the back, tighten it up, hold it from the back, and then screw it from the front. Put your 4 screws in there, then mount your speaker. So you don't have to go this route, but this is the route that I chose. So let me take you to the other side. I'll show you how to test to make sure we got the right polarity as well, because you want to make sure that the speaker is moving outward with the radio. That way you get the best sound and it's not moving inward. Because if you wire them backwards, the speaker will be running backwards. It'll still work, but it won't be running efficiently, and you could damage something because this one actually has a tweeter as well. So let me take you to the other side. Let me set you up on my tripod, and then we'll start taking the door panel apart and go through all that. So if we're taking the door panel off, you could probably just get away with like a little flat screwdriver, and then also like a Phillips head, either screwdriver or drill bit, and then maybe a plastic tool. You might not even need this if you could just pull back on the tweeter. So that's the first thing you want to do, is just pull back on it. I mean, if obviously you can't get your hands in there, then you want to use your plastic tool, kind of pry that. And then there's going to be a little connector right here. So you want to push down on that, or you can just, there's two options. You can try to get your finger in here, see if you can get in there and push the tweeter connector in and pull it out, or just, you can pull the tweeter out. Let's see if I can pull it out. The other side came right out, but I'm not sure if this one will come out real easy like the other one. Let me see. But if you can unplug it through right here, there's a little like tab right here. Push down on that, and then just pull up like that. That's one option. And then the other option would be to try to pry the tweeter out. There's like a tab. There's tabs all over. And it comes out like that. Okay. Goes back in. So like if you couldn't get it out, get your fingers in there, you can pull it out, and then you could go ahead and unplug it. So there's two options there. Next step's going to be right up in here. So there is a screw behind this cover here. So when I get this cover off, open it up, pry that out, little screw right in there. Let's go ahead and take that off, just like that. And next I'm gonna take the switch off this whole panel. You can start from back here, just kind of lift up, pry forward, comes out, and then just unplug the tabs. One, and then there's two. Simple as that. And then right inside of here, there is a little, like a little flap cover. There. Get your little screwdriver, just kind of open it up. And then take that little screw out of there. Now, if you're like me and you can't get your fingers in there, you might have to use a little bit of a magnet to get it out. Set that aside. So those two screws, I believe they're the same size. So if you get them mixed up, doesn't matter. Yeah, they look the same to me. And so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the door panel. So we're just gonna grab a corner, try to pull forward, go all the way around. And then as you kind of pull forward, now you can either disconnect the cables here, or it has got two little tabs. If you just kind of push those tabs up, this whole handle will come off. That's how I took the other one off. Actually, it just came off on its own. But there's like a tab that goes over here and here. I can show you. Right here and right there. You can just kind of wedge your screwdriver there and there. Kind of pry it out. That would be the easiest way to take it off. And then now we get down to this area here. You got 3 rivets. You want to just try to take a bit, something that's kind of a little bit bigger than the center, and then just start drilling. Just like that. If you just try to drill it straight, sometimes it just starts to melt the plastic around it. So I just kind of drive it up and down like that, and it seems to break the rivet a lot easier. See how easy that was? Same thing on the bottom one. And then I usually cut the wires here because I leave this in case I want to resell these speakers or put them back in later. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut the wiring here. But if you didn't want to do that and you were going to use a connector here, you can actually push the tab in right here and then pull out. And if you get some of those connectors, then you can always use one of those connectors that you get. I think Crutchfield sells them if you're not going to make a physical connection like I'm doing here. Okay. So then just kind of pull this out, and that's your factory speaker there. And these are still in good shape. I wanted to replace them because I replaced the back ones. Now, we do need to get rid of these backs of these rivets. Sometimes you can pull them or you can use like a punch to push them through. I usually drill them because I'm going to make the holes a little bit bigger. Now, the size of my sleeves here are these are M6s, which basically translates I have to make a hole around 3/8, or I think it was 6.1 millimeters, which I could not find a bit like that big. So I basically have what we call a unibit, which has the different sizes right here. And I went to like 11, I think it was 30 seconds, and it wouldn't fit. And then I drove it one more time, and it was 3/8, and I was able to get the sleeve in there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna knock this out with this regular bit, because this bit didn't work. This bit was way too big. But I'm just gonna drill that out like that, and just pop the bits out of there of the rivet, and then make sure that you get those pieces out of there so they're not rattling around. They do go flying around. So. There's the 3 of them. And then I put a piece of tape on here so that I don't go too far, because obviously I can't see this while I'm drilling, but that's about 3/8. So I just want to go in as far as that. There we go. Stop right at the tape. There we go. And now comes the fun part. So now if you're not going to use a rivet gun, I do have a rivet gun. This one, I bought this one online. I bought it at on Amazon. Now, the drawback of this gun is that it didn't come with the part if I wanted to use rivets. Okay, so I wanted to use a rivet, say like this, which I would have had to have drilled this hole a little bit smaller. But for whatever reason, the gun that I purchased did not come with the special thing that it's called like a jaw. I guess it holds it so that when you close it, it grabs it and breaks it. For whatever reason, this gun didn't come with it. And I called Amazon, and they told me that they're sorry, but it was too long ago that I purchased it, and that you could buy something else online. And I looked everywhere, I couldn't find it. But I could still use this, which initially why I purchased this. These sleeves, let's slide it right in there. They screw onto here. So you screw it onto here. Real simple, watch this. And then all you do is you push it in, right in there. Make sure I got you in the picture there. Down. Okay. Push it all the way in, and then you're just gonna, hold on. Did I do this wrong? I gotta put this all the way in. And then you just close it like that, and then open it back up, and then you just unscrew it. And basically now what it's doing, it's unscrewing the shaft of this from here, and then now that's solid. And you just do that with all of them. So you open it up, put that all the way in, put it in, and then just like that, open it back up, unscrew it. Took me a little while to understand how to work this thing, but I figured it out. Put it all the way in. one time, open it up, and then unscrew it. This gun was about 60 bucks, and it was that expensive because it was supposed to be a two-way tool. It's supposed to be able to do these kind, and you're supposed to be able to do the blind snapping rivets like these. I mean, obviously, if you have these, you can do these too and snap them, or just use a regular rivet gun. You can get them pretty cheap. I mean, if you wanted to not spend a lot of money, go to Harbor Freight, 5 bucks, buy the cheapest one they have, and you can rivet them back in. You just got to make sure the rivets are, the holes are just a hair bigger than the rivet. So if you know what the rivet size is, just go a hair bigger, not too big. So like these ones are perfect for this. So now, okay. Next step is going to be to put the adapter in here. So this is the top, well, or you can actually look at that piece. Duh. Didn't think about that. It's the easiest way, just to find the hole. So again, if you didn't want to cut the wiring there, you can always route your wiring inside of here, make your connection inside of there. You could do that as well. Okay, if you weren't going to keep the speaker, you could just leave this wire long, run it through here, cut it, and then put connectors on it. My speaker came with wiring, so I'm using the wiring that the speaker came with. Now, again, if you didn't put these in, you could always use the hardware that it came with. I just think this is really cheap. I don't know why Metra uses flathead screws, which are the worst type of screws to put in. They're the hardest to work with. Trying to screw it down with by hand, it's never fun. So let me grab my screw. Let me put the first one in just to hold it. So you don't want to put these in all the way. Now these did come in a package of 4, so I had to buy 2 packs. So again, you can find these probably a lot cheaper at like Home Depot or something. That was kind of expensive, 8 screws, $10. But I wanted to get this done today. I didn't want to drive all the way to Home Depot, which is not super far away, but it's not close either, so. As you can see, I'm kind of hassling with putting this in a little bit. When you go to a little bit bigger type of screw like I did, I'm hassling with this a little bit because obviously bigger screw is going to take up more space, and then now the spacer's not going to slide over as much. Now there's 2 options here. You could just fight it like I did. I fought this before and I got it in there, but the other option would be you can actually just drill the spacer out at just a hair. So if I don't want to fight with this, all I got to do is just grind this spacer up just a little bit, kind of go up. Okay, so you could do that with all of them. If you're having trouble getting them in there, just kind of drill it out a little bit more. I didn't do it on the other side, but I just did this side just to kind of show you. I probably could have got it in, but I didn't want to hassle with it. And there you go. Pretty solid. Now, if you want to put foam in there or whatever you want to do, that's up to you. I'm not doing that in this. This is just a real basic installation. This is my car, so I'm not doing all that to this. Let me grab the wiring for this. Okay. So like I said, if you wanted to run your wiring through here, you could just do that, then maybe tuck this under here and then go inside of here. I didn't do that, so I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm gonna do it the same way I did it last time. I just kind of got in here, wrapped it around here, and I came down through the back. And then basically left it about that long. Give myself just a little bit of space on the bottom. Now, I did mention earlier in the video about polarity. So what that is we need to know which one of these two wires is positive. Same thing on the other side. So if you look at these speakers, the wiring is different colors, okay? If you can determine one side, you can pretty much determine the other side, and I'll show you right now how. So this speaker right here is the original speaker. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna peel back the wiring like so. And you can do this with a 9-volt battery. I'm just gonna use my drill battery. It's got 2 slots right here. It's got on this side, let's see. This side is positive, that side's negative. So I'm gonna put the green one. I don't know which one is positive on these. Don't do it on this. Do it on the speaker that you just cut off. So we're gonna put the green one here on positive. And then right now when I put the blue one on the negative, I'm gonna watch what the speaker does. Now I'm not gonna just hold it there. I'm just gonna kind of tap it like this. And if you watch the speaker, if the speaker moves outward first, then that means that these are wired correctly, which means the green one was on positive, which means green would be our positive lead, and then blue would be our negative lead. So if we go and push it on there, tap it on there. See if I can do it. See how it's pushing outward? So now let's say it was backwards. Let's say I put the green one on the negative, and then I'm gonna tap the blue one on the positive. Now you're gonna see the speaker move inward. See how it's moving inward? That means that that's wrong. That shouldn't be on the positive because it's moving inward. So now I know that this is the negative. This has to be the positive. So now I know that green is positive and blue is negative. Or you can look it up online, look up the color codes if you want to go through that hassle. But that's an easy way to do this. Now, red on here with the little bit of black is the larger connector, which is the positive for my speaker. So I'm gonna put this red one, it's positive, to the green one that we just tested out, which is positive. So we're gonna wrap those two together, and then we're gonna wrap these other two together as well. And then we're gonna take our crimp cap, slide it over here, or whatever type of connection that you're using. I'm using crimp caps in this application here. That, and then crimp it. And then this will get tucked right in here, like so. And now I have my wire sticking out here. Next step is going to be to put the speaker on there. So now we're going to take our speaker and we're going to plug it in. So the larger connector will go on the larger connector here, which is the positive side. And I don't know if you probably can't see it on camera, but there's a little plus sign right here, and then there's a little negative sign as well. And just be careful. Don't jam it in there, just try to wiggle and get it in. Now you got a nice solid connection. Now the last thing we want to do here is there's a little flap right here. A lot of people don't know what it's for, but it is to tuck the wire in there and then push down on it. So then that way, if that thing gets pulled, it's not gonna pull off the connection. So now we're gonna rotate this, put our tweeter facing upwards, and then we're gonna line up the little guide holes there. And then we're gonna use the screws that came with the speaker. Now, if you can't use these, use any kind of screws that you can that will go into this plastic right here. And that pretty much does it. So now you got your speaker in there, you got it nice and mounted. We can test it out. I don't have my tweeter hooked up, but
Derby in Atlanta to win the Derby. He's also
this part here, we're gonna hook it in here.
In 6 career games against the team that drafted him in the Padres.
Okay, so one tip here, you gotta have the tweeters hooked up. Make sure our tweeter connection is sticking out as well. So the tweeter is the bridge connection to the speaker. So if you don't hook up the tweeter, you're not gonna get any sound tweeter on this speaker. Because I just hooked up the other side, I wasn't getting any sound. So let's see if I can turn this back on real quick. We're gonna make a connection right under here.
And here today against the Nationals, the Padres bullpen enters the ceremonial second half, ranking first in saves in baseball.
Okay.
Second in save percentage.
Perfect. So now I know that this needs to be hooked up. If you're not going to hook up the tweeter, then basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get to the wiring here and run that wiring down here. Okay. So that pretty much does it for that. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting this door panel back on. Make sure that tweeter's sitting in there correctly, nice and flat. Make sure that bottom clip lines up. One screw that goes right here. And then there's one screw that goes right here. Gotta open up that little flap. And then put that little screw in. Close the flap. Get our window switch. Plug in our two connections, one there and one there, and then this hooks into there. That snaps down like that, and then the last piece would be the little cover, which is right here. That pretty much does it. Let me turn it back on and
who will discuss your legal issue up to 30 minutes for free.
We're good. So that's how you would replace the front speakers on a Toyota Corolla. This one's a 2011. I know there's quite a few models that are similar to this. If the door panels kind of look the same as these, then more than likely it's going to be the same. I want to say maybe from 09 all the way up to 2012, they might be the same. Let me just show you a quick picture of the door panel. So if your panel looks kind of similar to this, that might be a different color, but if it looks similar to this, more than likely, mine has a little tweeter up in the corner right there, not up in the pillar. It looks kind of like that, more likely it's going to be the same. So again, thanks for watching. I still got to put together the other side. I'm not going to show that. It's pretty much the same. But anyways, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, hit me up. Have a great day.